Want to get more 3D out of your 2D animation app? Well, here's how you do it in MOHO. A box, a cube, in 3D. Well, hello, my name is Mark David Stallard and welcome to I'm Alive Animation. A 3D box in MOHO? Impossible? No, actually it's quite easy. You'll really find it quite intuitive once you know how to do it. Let's go! Okay, let's create a 3D box. So I'm going to start by creating all 6 sides of the box. This is actually going to be a pretty damn near perfect cube. So I'm going to click on the create, the draw shape tool. I'm going to click on the rectangle object there. I'm going to draw a cube. Hey, that's not a cube. Here's a tip. If you hold down shift, it will create the perfect square for you. I said cube earlier, but you know what I mean. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that the size I want. I want it. There we go. That's probably about right for the tutorial because I need you to see more of what I'm doing. I'm going to give this a cardboard box color, I think. Create shape. Okay, I'm going to turn off the strokes. You can leave the stroke on if you like. I'm going to turn them off for now. We can see really what's going on there. Now, I've started off this, of course, with a group and a single vector layer in the group, and I'm just going to rename that to front. Now what I need though is there are 6 sides. They're all pretty much identical. I'm now just going to duplicate that 5 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I'm going to name them all. So I'm going to call that one front. I'm going to call this one left, and so I don't get lost, I'm going to move left to my left. So hold down shift and then that'll move it perfectly. I'll leave a little gap so you can see what's going on. That one I'm going to call right, and I'm going to move that one, you guessed it, to the right. This one I'm going to call top. I'm going to move that one to the top. This one I'm going to call bottom. And I'm going to move that down to the bottom. And then this one is back. And oddly enough, it's already at the back because it's at the bottom of the list. So I'm not going to touch it at all. Good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes you can see. 2 shapes in the middle. And now I'm just going to put these together and turn them into a cube. It's really, really quite straightforward. So we're going to start at the front. The front is good. We're going to be using the set origin tool quite a lot here, pretty much for every shape. So as you can see, the origin shape is, can't really see it well in this color. Maybe I should change colors here, then you can see what's going on. There we go. I'm just going to change these to white. I think that'll be better, wouldn't it? And then we can see what's happening. Okay, all I'm doing is selecting the layer here, clicking on this with the select shape tool, holding down control, click on the shape, and it copies the settings there. And if I can go to the back, I can do it with the back as well. You can't see it, but it's there. We can always change it later if that's a problem. Right, so the select origin tool, this is probably not one that you would necessarily use a lot, but that would be the origin. So when you rotate the shape, for instance, it will go around that origin point. Think of it that way. So I'm going to set that one right in the middle in the front. On the left one, I'm actually going to change this now, and I'm going to put that as close as I can right on top of that line there. Then I'm going to take the transform layer tool, and I'm just going to put one line and hold down shift and then drag that over slowly, and then you put that there on top of the other. And I'm turning off GPU caching because it screws everything up for me. Right. And then we can see one line on top of the other. Get close enough. Make sure there's no gaps. Done. Now we're going to do that with all of the layers. Origin points I want on the line, closest to the square, because that's going to be the edge that we're going to rotate the layer on. So I'm going to the layer select tool or transform tool, shift, move it over, and we do the shift because it just doesn't move it. It moves it perfectly on one plane, so that's great. Make sure there's no gap there, and there, don't think there is. Good. I'm just using my middle mouse button to zoom in and out. I'm going to go to the top. And this is why I labeled them with the name so I could tell which one was which. And I'm just going to do that with the other 2 remaining layers. So that one's there. And you can do this really quickly once you've done it before. Make sure the bottom's highlighted. It doesn't really matter where on the line it is. It could be one side or the other. For this function, we don't really care. And then I want to make sure there's no gaps. Oop, something popped. Well, I can move my mouse a bit too much. There we go. Looking good. Back is I'm going to leave where it is. So you saw what I did there. Now we need to move these in 3D space. So I'm going to take the left panel, and I'm going to go to the rotate layer tool and rotation, Y rotation up here on the top left, and I'm going to put in 90. Now it's going to be wrong, I think. Yep. What you'll see is that now it's now rotated 90 degrees from flat towards us. So now, just so you can see that, I'll just move the camera a bit. There you go. So it went towards us there. So that went the wrong way. Reset the view. So I'm going to then, so just show you how it works. So we could do all kinds of different degrees, but I just want a 90 degrees, so I'm going to go minus 90, and it'll send it back. Now I'm going to do basically the same thing for everything else. So right, in this particular case, positive 90 will send it backwards. Don't forget, because it's on the side, it rotates it. If we were looking at it from the top down, that would be rotating in a clockwise direction. Minus would be, or was the other way around? Yeah, anti-clockwise. No, clockwise is minus. It gets confusing. One rotates it one way, one rotates it the other. Now with the top, we're now on the X rotation, and I can't remember if this is positive or minus. It is minus. There we go. Minus 90. Bottom is minus 90 on the X rotation. Oh, 90. There we go. Good. Now, if we go here, which we can't see really, is, we'll rotate that. It looks good. But the trouble is you can't see, because it's all one color. You can't see what color the back is. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this a little easier. I'm just going to go to the back, and I'm just going to highlight the shape in the back, give it any old color. Then we're going to rotate that again. So I've got the back colored in so we can tell the difference between the back and the front. But before we can view the back, we've got to make a change to the folder layer. Okay, go to the depth sort tab, click on sort layers by depth, sort by true distance. Click OK. Right, then we'll turn around. We still can't see the back. Now, why can't we see the back? Well, quite simply because the bottom is actually behind the front, because it started the way that the bottom was always going to be behind the front. Because they're on the, one was created first, one was actually first in order, they are exactly the same in 3D space. So once we move the bottom out so that it is further behind the front, this will affect, we'll see it nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to there, I'm going to reset that view. Now this is where we're going to now do something different. We're going to move the back of the box. So we're going to change the view. We're going to go to top. Right, now we're going to zoom in. Right, I want to go to the bottom. Sorry. That's why I'm going screwed up. Going to back, and we want to push the back. So we're going to use the transform layer tool. We're going to hold down shift, and from this point of view, if we push it this way, it will move back in space. And then we're going to line that up with the edge of the box. We'll get there, get that lined up as quick as we can. Now we're going to back out of here. I want to go view, go to camera view. There we are. Now, and if we rotate that now, rotate layer, there it is. You can now see a 3D shape. Now, the reason I want to leave it as a single color is now if I do that, we can preview it. You have to ignore the colors on the lines. That's because the back is a completely different color. But we can do the same thing we did with the other cube from the 2D cube, and we're just going to add some shading on it. So double click on the folder, shadows, shading on. I'm leaving it at default. You can change that if you like. Then if I go preview, there you go. You got a nice 3D cube. And you can leave the same color. What I would probably recommend there is you can maybe the front you would color left. We would change that to a different color. Front would be a slightly different color. Top would be a slightly different color as well. You kind of get the idea. Or variations of the same color, some lighter than or darker. There you go. You've got a 3D shape. It works nicely. Now we've got one more thing. If that wasn't enough for you, there we go. One more thing that we need to do, because this is really difficult to animate like this, because the origin point is on the front of this layer, which is fine. We can't move that origin point relative to the 3D box layer. And I'm just going to reset that one the way it should be, and that one as well. I'm just going to reset it back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to the front. We're going to go view, top I mean, and then what we're going to do is highlight all of the layers. We can see the origin point for the 3D box there. So we highlighted all the layers of the box. Click on the layer transform tool, and I'm just going to move everything about halfway there. Now if we go there, okay, that's a little over halfway, but we can go back again, move that up, and we can see that the origin point would be on this plane, because that's the 3D box plane. It's more or less in the middle, close enough for this demonstration. Anyway, now if I go back here to the layer, we'll see now to the rotate layer, we can see now it rotates inside the cube, and that makes it just a little bit easier. It's still a bit of a pain to animate it, but there you go. We've got a 3D cube. I told you that would be easy. Hopefully this has given you a good foundation on where to start doing that for yourself. Now, if you like what you've seen, give us a thumbs up, even a share, maybe leave a comment. And why not subscribe to I'm Alive Animation? Remember, if you can imagine it, you can bring it to life.